guys, Rex here. I want to share this with you. Been using it for a little while now. I did debut it when we were doing the storm relief deal, but I know that a lot of you guys are looking for affordable power backup options. Now, for me, where I live out here, that's kind of actually a big deal. Some people have it worse than me for sure, but when the power goes out due to storms, especially, gosh darn it, you get your food is all in your freezer, your fridge. You got a sump pump, you got a septic pump. There's certain stuff that is in our infrastructure that we depend on, unfortunately, and we're trying to move away from much of that infrastructure as possible. But there's still, even for the best of us, there's still stuff that's nice to have electrons flowing. And so I've, for a while, had a Goal Zero for a number of years that I used quite a bit, and it saved my butt during a really bad, we had a 10-day power outage in North Dakota in January a couple years ago, 10 days in the winter time. And so that really helped. I could power all my stuff. So this is the new one. And I was kind of surprised, and I'm just being honest here. I printed up a deal to read to you guys for specs because there's a lot of stuff going on that's new to me. I was surprised at the technology level in battery stuff just in the last few years, how much has changed. From when I was a kid to even 5 years ago, it blew my mind. But now it's way lighter and way faster charging, and it holds a lot more power. So this is the OUPES, OUPES, okay? Kind of a goofy name. I've never heard of it. I think I saw PJ or somebody had one when I did look into it a little bit to kind of see what I'm dealing with, to see what to kind of compare it to. And I know that from my experience, this sucker is really lightweight and it's extremely fast charging. I didn't look at any of the specs. I didn't do any research when I got it. I just plugged it in and was expecting it would take all day to get it all the way topped off. It came with a 60% charge and it topped off in a few minutes. So this thing can charge from 0% to 100% in an hour, or maybe a tiny bit more, 80 minutes, from 0 to 100. So I'm going to share with you a more full review. We've got to use this actually the day it came in. The day I had set aside to actually try to set up some kind of, fake field test, just to kind of show you guys, to do a demonstration. We actually needed it for a real power outage with some friends and family. And so I was able to utilize it in a real life already. So it's been used. I gave it to a bro to use he does a lot of camping, and they run their freezers and their guitar amps or their fridges or whatever they take camping with them, because there's no power and they don't like to run a noisy generator. But these things are actually, man, for the price range nowadays, pretty powerful. So let's get into the features. This is the OUPES Mega 1. This is their affordable one. It's I think if you use the discount codes, and I think they sent me one that's a pretty good one. You guys can click on it and it'll drop it way down in price to well under $500, if I'm remembering correctly. Okay. So that's pretty gosh darn affordable to some of the units I bought in the past. It has an ultra fast recharge, approximately 60 minutes to a full 2,200 watt input. Okay. So most rivals are going to take 90 nowadays. I looked it up. Nowadays, it's usually 2 hours. This is about half the time to charge of most of your rivals in the same general price range in 2025. It's also combined with solar input, so you can do 2,200 watts to allow a true 1 hour charge on solar. Now, that's a big deal because it's not always sunny. And in the wintertime, if you can charge stuff fast when it's sunny, and you get a good angle on it or whatever, man, tell you what, it's not going to charge as fast in the winter because, especially up here, the sun's at a lower angle. But that's pretty good to be able to charge it up in a couple hours. You know what I mean? Some days it's cloudy most of the day. If you catch some sun, though, it's nice to be able to charge it up. It does have 13 outputs. So some competitors are going to limit the USB-C to 60 watts. This one actually has, the Mega 1 has dual 100-watt USB-C PD ports, 4 QC USB-A, 4 AC sockets. We have DC ports and a car outlet. And so it's very versatile. It still retains a lot of the ports, like the car outlets. I got a lot of stuff that runs on those cigarette lighters, we called them when I was a kid, because you light cigarettes with that. Did you know that? A little circle, you push it in there, it gets red hot. You can burn your friend's finger when he's not paying attention, or you can light your cigarette. I'm not saying to smoke. I'm just saying that's what it's actually called. Okay. Expandability is cool. I guess you can hook these up to get 5.12 kilowatt hours out of them. So a lot of units are fixed capacity, but this you can add 2 of the B2 batteries and scale it to 5,120 watt hours, which is going to move it a lot closer to like a home backup system. Like it's going to be, you can back up your entire house almost, depending on what you're running, without forcing, you to buy some kind of much larger unit. It's expandable. That's pretty darn cool. It's pretty tough for like hauling around in the back of a truck. It's IP54 water resistant and shock proof. So you can toss it around if it gets water splashed on it, or if you spill a brewski on it when you're camping. It's not the end of the world. It's not going to just explode immediately, hopefully. Okay. Smart control designs. That's one of the things that I did not use the app. Okay. I'd rather chew broken glass than put another app on my phone. All right. So let's talk about the power to weight ratio. So this sucker, if you look at the specs on other stuff, which I had to do a bit of research because stuff changes so quick in this field, unmatched power output per pound. This packs 2,000 watts of continuous power, and it's less than 30 pounds. I think it's like 27 pounds. So that's like 72 watts per pound or something like that, if I figure it out correctly. So I'm going to go over the specs real quick. The battery capacity is measured in watt hours. So that basically tells you the size of the gas tank on the battery effectively, like how much energy can you store, like how big is your gas tank, how much juice can you put in here. Units with 500 to 700 watt hours are small. They might power a laptop or CPAPs or, little short camping trips. When you get into 1,000 watt hour range, that's like you can power a fridge or a TV or something. This sucker has 1,024 watt hours, expandable to 5,000 watt hours. So it's a solid medium capacity unit with the option to scale up. And at 5,000 watt hours, that's plenty of juice to run a lot of stuff. The output, just your straight watts to translate for you guys, that's how much horsepower it has. So you have your gas tank, that's how much gas you can burn, right? And then your horsepower is how fast can you burn that gas if you need power, right? And so this thing is pretty good. It's 2,000 watts continuous. So that's top tier. It runs nearly anything that portable power stations can handle. So 2,000 watts of horsepower, if you will, okay? The power surge peak, it'll go up to, I think, 4,500 watts surge. So that's pretty good. That's excellent, I believe, if you look at other stuff. Your peak watts is going to tell you how much short burst power is available to start stuff like motors on fridges and pumps and stuff like that. So if you're running some pumps or some kind of machine, like that has to start a big motor, like it's going to peak out for a second to get it going, right? Because you got to overcome that, like it's going zero. Like when you start a car and you start driving, you're burning a lot of gas to get it moving. Once it's moving, it's good. Same deal here. So your peak surge power in watts is good to know. And this has 4,500 watts of surge. So it'll start stuff. It'll get stuff going, like motors. Your weight, this is 27 pounds. So what is that, like 12 and a half kilograms or something? I was surprised how light it is. My wife had absolutely no problem wrestling that around, like in weird positions, pulling it out from under where we keep it, under the stairs or whatever, behind all this stuff. You know how it is, right? And it's nice. Some of the other ones are pretty dang heavy. So this is very portable. The energy density. Okay, so this is something I wanted to calculate for you guys, because your energy density is like how much horsepower do you have how much energy do you have related to the weight? How much gas per pound? Like, what's its efficiency, right, of your energy storage? So if you're going to carry around 27 pounds, this is actually really good. So 30 watt hours per pound, like, because portability is a big deal. It's like having, I don't know, like a really high, like what do you call them? The 500 Smith & Wesson with the snub nose. There's a lot of power in there, and it's not that big. Does that make sense? Or like a really lightweight rifle that's very powerful. Like that's kind of important, right? So this actually has 36.8 watt hours per pound, which is really good. Really, really, really good. It's well above average. So it's good, a lot of power per pound. Its power density is basically going to tell you its output strength relative to weight, how much muscle per pound it has, and this has 72 watts per pound. I think I mentioned that earlier. So the battery chemistry, this is the lithium iron phosphate type battery, and so the lifespan and the safety and the efficiency of those is getting really good nowadays. The technology there is crazy. I'm shocked at how much power some of these super lightweight. I got a jump starter kit that's just wham, it'll start my diesel pickup, and it's like weighs as much as a slice of bread. It's crazy, right? And so it's got pretty good batteries. I think it's good to 3,500 cycles. It's going to have performance within an excellent long life choice. So if you're using it a lot, charging, if you're using it a lot, there's only so many power cycles can go up and down batteries. They have all sorts of different calcification effectively that happens inside like a lithium style battery. These are really good. You can use them a lot. So if you actually use your stuff, then pretty handy, or if you want it to last a long time. So if you take all that stuff and combine it with your expandability, so you can make it way more powerful by adding those extra B2 batteries, the durability and all the smart features and stuff, I know they're very desired. And you got a lot of ports on them too. Like you can actually run several different things at once. So like something like this, you have enough power, you can run a big guitar amp like all night. So if you're on your parade float, I know that most of you guys do that all the time, right? You're going to play like some Van Halen on the parade float extremely loud on your, Randall amp or whatever, your crate or whatever you got, big old Marshall. You can run it. Like you can run all kinds of stuff on there. You can sit here and you can, run your radio on it. So if you want your wife to like fan you off while you're listening to whatever kind of rap music or whatever, like how when she feeds you grapes and has the fan.
The terror of the yard, but he messed with the wrong kid. Cuddle Cluck ruled with the glare and a crow. Scratched up the boy when he tried to sew. Spurs like daggers, wings spread wide. My kid ran screaming, nowhere to hide.
And fans you off, you can sit out in the wilderness at the lake and play your favorite tunes and have your wife fan you off while you're sitting there enjoying your lemonade, right? So I don't know. If you guys are interested in that deal, I'll share a link below. I'll put the specs below. And kind of a rundown and translation of what those specs mean. I know that when I look at that stuff, it's a little confusing. I got to remember, you actually have to think about what's happening, but I'll just put like a cowboy colloquial translation in there for you, what the specs actually mean, so you can appreciate the performance. It's a good little unit and surprisingly affordable. Now, as you guys know, the trade stuff and all that going on, I wouldn't expect stuff like this to always be this affordable. This is a time in history where some of these items are going to be very, very, very affordable. Do you remember when 22 ammunition was like $8.98 for 550 rounds of the Federal? Yeah, that's when I bought all my 22 ammunition, all of it. I bought it. I knew in my mind, I'm like, right now is the time to buy this. Every time we went grocery shopping, whether I expended a few boxes or not, I was always adding to the pile. And I always replaced what I had with more than I used. You know what I mean? And so stuff like that, there's certain stuff like this. I think some of the thermal optics available now are just, I don't see them ever getting cheaper, not with the slide of the dollar. So if you're looking for that point of intersection where it's wise to invest your Federal Reserve notes, which is a fiat currency, like you guys understand that, into some actual tool you might use, that's a pretty efficient conversion for usefulness. because I don't see that stuff getting really cheaper. I know that the technology is getting better, but if the dollar's sliding at the same time, it's like, when do you buy? That's the way I'm thinking about certain tools. Now, some stuff we missed the window on, right? But that's unfortunate. But this stuff is, man, it's affordable. So I would consider it if you're looking for something like that. You're crazy if you have stuff that relies on electricity to live, right? If that's the way you roll, which is the way most of us unfortunately still are, in all honesty, to some level, then you got to have backups for stuff like that. You can't trust the power company, man. Are they going to get to your house first? Probably not. That's usually not the case for us because we're in the middle of nowhere. But I don't know. If you guys have other stuff, or if you have experience on this, share it below. I'm curious to see what your observations were, if you like it or not. Or if you have other stuff that you think would be cool to look at or to consider that would outcompete this in its price range, share it below. I am not afraid of different discussions and arguments when it comes to tools. I'm not emotionally attached to my tools like some people can be. I don't care as long as it works good and it's affordable and it's efficient and it helps me, then I'm happy. So go ahead and share your observation on whatever solar or whatever power station units you're running. And let me know below. And thank you for being here. Again, I'll share the links below. Of course, it does help the channel if you use those. So if you want one, then use that. And it'll save you some money too. Rock and roll, you guys. Have a good day. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. I forgot to mention. The survival writing contest on Patreon is coming to a head in the next 2 weeks. I think it's on the 15th of September is the deadline, if I remember correctly. I don't have a lot of submissions yet. So you guys, if you're on Patreon, if you're not, you can just join Patreon where we do like 50 posts a month. But if you want to submit your paper, all you have to do is write your stuff on survival. You're not competing with a huge amount of people to win that thermal scope, a really, really good thermal scope. So it's going to be funny when I reveal how easy or how good your chances could have been to get that thing. Because everyone just, I'll never win. It's impossible. There's probably 1,000 guys. There are not 1,000 guys. I'm here to tell you that. So if you're not yet on Patreon and you do want to check it out, come check us out on Patreon. I'll leave that below as well. And then you just write us a survival paper, submit it to me on PM, and you have a chance. I'm not going to be the judge of who wins the survival paper writing contest. I'm going to let the patrons decide that. I'm going to turn it over to them. The people will decide that one, okay? So I can't put my finger on it. I can't weight it any weird way or anything like that. You guys will decide. Make sure you live in a place where I can send it to, because if you don't, I can't send it to you, right? Because it's a thermal optic. Some places are crazy. So, I'm not sending it to Indochina, French Indochina or someplace. Okay. Rock and roll. You guys have a good day. I just wanted to mention that. Yeah, have a good day, Rex. Out.
Once upon a time on a dusty old farm lived a rooster with spurs and a thirst for harm. They called him Colonel Cluck, the terror of the yard, but he messed with the wrong kid. Colonel Cluck ruled with the glare and the crow. Scratch